So I was going to talk about how finding your why is very important, and it is the underpinning of finding your purpose. It is your purpose. And we'll talk about it next time. But something happened during the production of the last episode all the way until hitting the record button of this video that blew my mind, that I had to share with you, because this is the foundation of why we can't get started. You have all your tools. You've had this long journey at the starting line, and you think you're pumped. You're ready to go, but you don't. What's going on? Being mindful. This is very important. This underlines all my series. Being mindful is the only way I found this. And if I wasn't mindful, I would have just went along. And what was going on was another voice that was telling me, hey, let's do this instead. Instead of getting closer to your finished goal, let's do this. And if I wasn't mindful, I wouldn't have noticed, and I would have went along with it, which I've done in the past, which is what led me here. But the voice wasn't mine. It was his. But whose? To figure out this mystery, let's go back to 1940s Pinocchio. Remember Disney's classic? And our second major character, Jiminy Cricket, the embodiment of Pinocchio's consciousness. His whole purpose is to keep Pinocchio from doing foolish things by seeing the consequences of his actions. What does this mean? Why you and I can't get started? Well, we all have a Jiminy, right? Though he's trying to keep us on the right path, Jiminy has a dark side. Let me caveat that it's not malicious. He's not doing a bad thing. He's trying to protect you in the best way he knows how. And why that doesn't work, let's go back way before Homo sapiens, way past 200,000 years ago, where we were in the African savanna. So picture this. On the left, you have the great open plains, a lot of animals to hunt, maybe some scattered bushes with some berries on it. You have a stream with some shade. Hey, it's nice. Keeps you alive. On the right, off in the distance, you see this lush paradise, basically, with lush vegetation, low-hanging fruit, waterfall, a lake with fish, all this beautiful stuff. But in between you and that is a wide expanse of tall grass. You don't know what's in there, but you saw some rustling and you may have heard some growls. So what do? It's best to avoid that, right? Best to not take risks by going through the tall grass. So what happens is that we develop this fear. This is evolutionary. We develop the fear of the grass, and then the self-doubt comes in and says, no, you can't go through the grass to get to that paradise. So just stay here and keep you safe. So we desperately want to go there, and that's going to fulfill us, but our comfort of survival just overshadows everything. Fast forward to today, there's no tall grass and all that, but it's still there. The fear is there, and the self-doubt is there because of an unknown future. It's the same scenario, just different setting, basically. Jiminy Cricket's whole entire job is to keep you alive and safe. He'll do anything to keep you in this familiar territory. But his protection by familiarity is misguided because it just leaves you unfulfilled. You're empty. This is why we're here. This is why we're trying to get out of it. What I noticed on my first episode, I kept coming up with these thoughts as I got closer and closer. These thoughts just started popping in out of nowhere. Just, hey, why don't you go play some video games? Why don't you watch TV, do some art for your other channel, The Art of Ramos, by the way, which I need to get to, but this is my priority right now. This is what I was trying to do. If I wasn't mindful, I wouldn't have noticed it, and I just would have never finished anything, which I've done in the past. And because I was sick and tired of it, that's what made me pop out and say, no, not this time. But Jiminy is better at controlling you than you are. He knows your fears, your desires. He knows you want immediate gratification because that paradise over there, the dream, is off in the distance. You have to go through the hard work of going through the tall grass to get there. So why don't play a video game right now and be happy right now? And he makes up these unproven but very logical and terrifying outcomes if you go into that grass. If you quit your job and go try to search for your dreams, you could fail. You could lose your income. It's unproven, but it's very logical and it's very convincing. So most of the times we believe it and just stay here in misery. The thing that he can actually do is pull on your emotional strings. He can actually control your emotions. I've noticed myself losing motivation in the episodes, like not wanting to draw instead, really wanting to play the Xbox. It was like I was falling into a hypnotic state, into a dreamlike state. And I snapped out of it and was like, whoa. I was like, well, good one, Jiminy. That's a good one, but I'm going to do this instead. I pushed through it and it was actually physically painful. I really wanted to do this other stuff. Really quickly, these little fears that I have or these desires of wanting to do something else faded away like smoke, like literally like smoke. They're all bullshit. Jiminy's misguided protection, he creates self-doubt through this thing called fixed mindset, right? Instead of confidence through what's called a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is believing that your abilities, your intelligence, and your talent are fixed. They can't change. There's nothing you can do about it. Naturally, any challenges that you come across are obviously proof that your limitations and you can't do it, right? This is a lie by Jiminy to get you to not do the thing. Stay in the savannah where it's here and safe. Don't go in the scary tall grass, right? A growth mindset, on the other hand, is thinking that your abilities, your intelligence, and your talent can get better through challenging effort, learning, and most importantly, perseverance. This way you could see challenges and failures as learning opportunities to grow from. Yes, there are always dangers of going through the grass, but it's not as bad as you think, and you can actually do it. The fear and the self-doubt are just self-defense tools that Jiminy uses to stop you. And once you see this, it's easier to gently set him aside, thank him for his effort, and move on through the grass. So what's the solution? You basically just got to do what I just said. You have to see it. Doubt, excuses, the extreme discomfort, the desire for immediate gratification all come from Jiminy going into overdrive, trying to keep you in your comfort zone by distracting, demotivating you from your dreams. They're not legit. They're only his attempts. It's to save you in his ignorant way. See it. You have to see it. The next step is persevere. When you have these moments, you gotta push through, especially when he's laying it on you. And the best way to do that is in the small, digestible steps, because now you can notice that they're easier to do, they're quicker to do, and you can gain a lot of them. And psychologically, you're like, whoa, what else can I do? Because I've done all this, even though they're little steps, it's still a positive win for you. And it's easier to get that momentum forward and say, well, what else can I do? Or I only have a little bit left, or I did one step, let me do one more. Just work on that one step. That's all I want you to do. That's it. It's just persevere and see it. See it, then persevere. It's really neat observing this inside myself. And I know that each of us has this. And this is the main reason why we can't get started or finished in what we really want to do. Like an annoying salesperson, just acknowledge him and move him to the side and keep moving. Okay, so now next Wednesday at 8 a.m., we can start with our continually scheduled programming with finding your why. That was the reason why I was late today. Was Jiminy Cricket, right? I told you, right? Until I hit the record button. Next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, finding your why. You can do this. Remember, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm your host, Will Ramos, and this is Will's Way.